Redditors who've had a gun pointed at you, how are you still alive? My vehicle fit the suspect description, but I didn't. Not me, but my father. He drove taxis in New York. He picked up my mom from her shift in the hospital. Man jumps in the taxi out of nowhere demanding for a ride. My dad says, sure, extra money, I guess. Guy gets irritated, my dad isn't going fast enough. It's New York, what do you expect? My dad, who is 5'5" from the Bronx and has never been scared of anyone in all of his life, starts to tell this guy to shut up and chill. They start verbally arguing. Guy pulls a gun at my dad's head. Guy stops. He said the only reason he didn't kill him is because my mother is very pregnant in the passenger seat and thought she was nice. Somehow, my dad was able to finish the trip after that. He decided to get a job at a cable company and move states to a safer area for our family. Rip Dad. Not from a gun, but cancer. I was living in a rough neighborhood a couple years ago. One evening I was walking to the local grocery store when I suddenly walked into this huge dude. I'm 195 centimeters and 90 kilograms. So I'm not a small person myself. Before I knew it, I was surrounded and dragged into an alley and had a gun pointed at me. One of the guys asked me to show an ID. At that point, I thought they were undercover cops, but them all wearing balaclavas made me doubt that. I showed them my ID and they patted my shoulder, shook my hand and said they're sorry for getting the wrong guy. Then they left. Gangs were basically running that neighborhood and they were more than likely looking for someone that owed them money, and I must have just looked like that guy. It could have been very traumatic, but the fact that they apologized afterward actually made me feel safe. And I just shrugged it off. Still glad I'm not living there anymore though. Years ago, at my first real job, I was in training as a forest ranger and came upon a large group of men night hunting standing next to several dead deer. All were armed, and as I was exiting the vehicle, many of the guns were pointed in my direction. In training, I was not armed, and they realized it, and they lowered their guns. I was alone, unarmed, outnumbered, and I should have been writing summons, but I was just glad to leave. The person was just playing around and thought the gun was unloaded. He pointed it at my head and was about to pull a trigger when my husband, who had been raised to learn that you never, ever point a gun at anyone, grabbed it away from him. It turned out the gun was loaded. The person was an alcoholic and forgot he had loaded the gun the last time he had a drink. I let the gun holder make the first moves. I didn't talk unless I was addressed first. I didn't move unless I was told to. I didn't try to run or leave until he left. And then I pissed myself.